Hi, Victory Dragon King Daigo here, and today we're talking about player profiles. For all of those who are new to Magic, player profiles are the archetypes that players fall under in terms of that garner playstyle and things of that sort. So the most known ones are Timmy, Johnny, Spike, and while those are really good, they often run into the problem of being too vague and too broad. So a lot of players find themselves not really aligning with one or none of them because they fall into this huge hodgepodge of oh, I'm a Timmy Johnny Spike, or oh, I'm a Tammy Johnny Spike, or whatever combination it is. So a while back, I saw an article by Card Kingdom that did a very excellent job doing a more deep dive breakdown for Commander specifically. So I'm going to take a little bit of what they did and run with it and create this series called Player Profiles. Please don't ask me to shorten this. I would like to stay monetized. Okay, so let's get into it. Today we are talking about the Outlaw. The Outlaw is the player profile that can best be described as the ones who will be able to do what they want to do. They will move forward. I have the quote for them. Their quote is, "You all do what you can and I do what I want." And so that's just kind of the attitude of the Outlaw. It's very much I play with freedom and power. Good examples of these players will include Craig from Command Zone, if he still works there, but if not, sorry, Craig, I apologize. And then me. I am very much an outlaw, and so moving on from that, they usually come in two flavors. There is the protagonist and the antagonist. Thankfully today, because I know so much about this, because I am one, I have a very clear delineation and example for one and the other. So, the protagonist. The protagonist is very simple in that the protagonist is very much how they win is they go about their game plan in a very consistent way, and they build the protection for the game plan in the deck. So, cards for this would be something like Shalai, or anything that will increase or protect your pieces, a Teferi's Protection or two, Lazotep Plating, super underrated card, everybody should give it a try if they're doing anything with a bunch of creatures, especially with the Orcish Bowmasters running about, screw that card, he's a meanie. And then antagonists are on the completely opposite spectrum in that their decks are super consistent, but they're really good at denying the other players opportunities and points of interaction or being able to play the game. And this isn't to say they're bad. I know antagonists have kind of a connotation of being the bad guys. They're not the bad guys. They just require a different mentality to play around and against. So, examples of decks you would see for protagonists, usually creature type decks that are focused around one type or two, and then usually a few protection pieces. So for example, I run Aragorn Humans, because a lot of the deck synergizes around just playing creatures of a similar type, and then Aragorn himself being a human allows for more utility because he himself provides utility. On the flip side, antagonists are pretty much going to play decks that are very hard to interact with, but in a way that it hurts you to interact with. So for example, I know Craig did the Command Zone, he built all of the Command Zone secret Santa decks for a while back, and the example that sticks out to my mind in that episode is Sen Triplets. Sen Triplets is a very clear-cut example of this is a commander deck that is very much about playing the antagonist route. You are going to have a hard time interacting with them and a hard time getting to deal with them because they're just going to protect their stuff and play your stuff on their turn. So good luck dealing with an antagonist in terms of that kind of stuff. But in revolving around this, and how the trick to playing against Outlaw is that their decks are super well made, but because they're super well made, there are obviously going to be choke points and inflection points to where it's this is the game's turning point, that if you're managed to stop or not necessarily quell but slow down, you will have a better time and a better chance fighting them. Not actually fighting them. Please don't go out punching your outlaws. Please don't do that. So that will be your best bet in terms of playing against one. Don't, and I repeat this is the one thing you don't want to do with an outlaw. Do not make an enemy or turn yourself into an obstacle, because they will see you and they will snuff you out like a match. Or, for my One Piece fans out there, like your ace. Um, that is the biggest flaw of the Outlaws, and coming off of that is that they are super prone to tunnel vision and pettiness. And not necessarily pettiness and like, oh, you countered my commander 2 turns ago. It's like, no, you board wiped, and now the game goes on 3 turns more longer than I would like it to, so now I actually just have to wipe you off the face of existence. That's the type of pettiness you'll see. It's it's overkill, but like, you kind of earned it if you like make an outlaw angry. And I'm not biased, I'm just saying the facts. But with that being said, I hope that this little player profile was able to give you guys a nice little like visage and like intro into this entire concept. If you guys like it, we can like talk about your favorite outlaws in the comments. Shout out Craig. I hope you understand that this was not an attack on anything. I love your work. I think your decks are super interesting and complex. I just don't want to ever play against them. I am Victory Dragon King Daigo here, and I hope you have an excellent night. Talk to y'all later.